Hey, Simone.
Hey, Adam. How are you?
You can hear me loud and clear?
Yeah.
Excellent. The signal's coming through fantastically. I'm not looking at a houseboat anymore, am I?
No, I'm unfortunately at my office, but it's pretty cool too.
Is it nighttime? Is it dark outside?
Yeah. It's cold, dark, and depressing. Welcome to Sweden.
Is it like Let the Right One In? Is that what it's like all the time?
Yeah, but with less teeth.
So you've got a project. You've got a project. I don't know anything about it except it fits on the head.
I think you're really going to like this one. So the idea is,
Okay.
you know, like beer helmets.
Yes,
so you have
I know
two beer
helmets.
cans on a helmet. And I was
Yeah.
thinking if you could do that, but instead of beer, you have popcorn. So basically, I made this, and I wanted to it has like a little pipe, so it kind of funnels the popcorn down to your mouth, and it detects if you open or close your mouth. And I made this very scientific drawing.
Okay, so it's a tube that feeds popcorn. What does it do it one at a time?
No, I kind of wanted to just be a lot of popcorn. That's just like way more than you can actually chew.
It occurs to me that the movies that we eat popcorn, like we put as much into our hand as we can, and then we
And you
kind
just yeah.
of shove it all the way in there.
Yeah. I just kind of want to take the hands out of that equation. So you just need to open your mouth, popcorn comes in, and then you're all done. Just chew and swallow.
And what's the mechanism by which the popcorn comes down the tube?
I don't know yet. I'm thinking because popcorn are not very nice to work with, but I made this.
That's awesome.
I think most of all it just looks really neat. But I'm thinking that probably some sort of motor with like a little motor blade thing going on that just
Right.
kind of pushes it down through the pipe. Or you could do it electrostatically, which I think would be pretty cool.
You know, there's also using the Venturi principle.
What is that?
If you have a tube and you put popcorn at one end of the tube, and at the other end you drill a hole and you put an air blower that
Okay.
blows out, that air blowing out of the tube will draw air in the other side. That's the Venturi effect.
I think maybe that's a good setup because then I'm worried if you have a motor that's just going to crush the popcorn.
Exactly, and you want these popcorn are delicate. You want them to, but again, it's
be
almost like a
cool.
blower is pushing popcorn into your mouth every time you open.
I need to take this off. I can't take myself seriously when I wear this.
That is all. I think you're going to need bigger repositories for the popcorn than
Yeah,
those.
because these are going to run out really quickly.
Yeah, that's like 4 mouthfuls in what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So what part of this do you want help with? What are you thinking about?
So I'm thinking most of all, one thing that I need to decide is if we want the helmet to pop the popcorn as well, or if it's okay that it just dispenses it. And I got these, I got this hot air popcorn popper because I think
Yeah.
having really warm oil on your head is not a great idea. So
Yeah.
I think maybe that's one route to go. But then I think maybe it would also just be cool if it had some sort of sensor by the mouth and it just dispenses popcorn. I think that's pretty good enough too.
I think you're right. I think it's best to localize the problem and make it a popcorn dispenser rather than
Yeah.
a all-in-one.
All in one. Yeah, so what I would need help with is just I want to make 2 popcorn containers that could kind of fit on the helmet and that also have these pipes coming out of them. And just kind of, I don't know how you would do that, vacuum mold them or...
All right, so you got a helmet, you've got the buckets for popcorn, and it needs to be pretty light because it's a lot of weight to put on the head.
Yeah.
Maybe the first thing I can do here is vacuum form a pair of popcorn holders, and while you're problem solving the delivery of the popcorn, because the delivery will dictate how the popcorn distributor gets to the buckets.
Right. Yeah, because I think that I just want to kind of also see what the best way of monitoring if the mouth is open or not is. Just check out what sensors you would want to have for that. And also just hooking up the electronics that dispenses the popcorn, be it a motor or a fan or...
There is another way to deliver, which is sort of along, you might like this, is suppose that there's 2 deliveries for popcorn and they hang here. And when you open your mouth, one of them moves over and basically it's just a swing. But when it's over here, its popcorn loads into it, and it comes over here to deliver, and then it comes back. And then the other one is also doing the same thing so that they can basically...
So it's actually 2 plastic hands?
Yeah, or 2 plastic scoops, right? So that every time they go back to the home position, they load with popcorn, and then they come and shove it in your face.
I really like that. It would look like, but I mean, I like if it would actually look like hands, because then it would look like a combination of a beer helmet, but then also one of those clap helmets.
Right,
or
right,
that had
right.
like applause helmets. So I think it would be nice to just 2 plastic hands and just shove them into your mouth. I like that a lot.
Okay, so my first step is to make you some hands. Make hands and send. So once I finish the hands, let's get back on Skype, and I'll get those to you, and we can figure out the next thing for me to help you with.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I'll look into different sensors that can kind of, or maybe you just want it on like a regular basis, or like repeatedly go and feed you the hands.
Well, but what about a laser with a light diode right here, so that when you open your mouth, you break the beam, and the beam.
Laser beam would look cool.
Right, a little green laser, and it's like every time you open your mouth.
You'd be the most annoying like theater visitor ever. Just having like laser pointing everywhere.
I love this idea. I've got my marching orders. I will get going on these hands, and we'll talk in a few days.
Yeah, cool. Talk to you later, Adam.
Awesome. Thanks, Simone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. I got to gather some parts. We've got to make a hand. Yeah, it's that side. It comes around and feeds popcorn. I know how I want to build the hand. I know how I'm going to attach it to its stem. I think I know how it's going to tip, but I have to get these relationships right. So I'm going to gather some things in order to flesh this out on my workbench. All right, there's one. Sorry, Simone, that's going to be you, just for the time being. Excellent. Okay. This is just to get us to a point where we can start mocking stuff up. But before I even start mocking up the mechanism, I need the hand. And this is going to be interesting. All right. We're going to vacuum form this hand. I hand built this vacuum former over 24 years ago. Fawn Davis and I were each building vacuum formers at the same time, and we were copying this one that our mentor Mitch Romanowski had, which is really nice, but you can't ever find them. So we both made them in red containers. Okay, so a quick primer on vacuum forming. With vacuum forming, one takes a sheet of plastic like this, a thermoplastic. This is styrene. ABS also works, but styrene's the most common. You clamp it into a frame, you heat it with a heating element, and then you turn on a vacuum, and the vacuum sucks the hot, soft plastic over a form. That's actually perfect. This is pretty much exactly what I wanted out of this. Now, the plastic is rapidly cooling, but it's still kind of soft, so you don't want to pull the form out just yet. I can't believe I've never used this vacuum former untested before. That's crazy. I'm very sorry about that. So there you have. That is a vacuum form of a fiberglass hand. Now, getting your thing back out can sometimes be a bit of a challenge, but not this time because I haven't let it go too far around. Doink. Now I've got a hand
That's the popcorn delivery device. And it's super light. That's really important. I don't want something heavy hitting you in the face, and I don't want Simone's servo to have to handle something super heavy. So lightness was a factor. The vacuum form was the solution. Okay. I may do one more pull of this hand at a slightly hotter plastic so that it gives a little more detail, but this will be fine for our testing purposes. Okay, so that's about right. This is where Simone's trapdoors for popcorn are. But when this spins around on its pivot here, dunk, even down here, dunk, it doesn't get anywhere near her, even like that. So I think I need a bent rod of some kind. She's got room here to mount this off center. Yes, give me a sec. We're bringing in all the mobile stations on this one. So Simone spec'd that she was driving the hand mechanism with what she called D-rod, which is simply 1/4-inch rod with a flat milled on it. And I can mill a flat on this, but for right now, while I'm mocking this up, I'm going to use some much softer, milder steel. This is hot roll pencil rod, 1/4-inch pencil rod, and you can buy this for really like pennies at the steel yard. And it's one of my bread and butter materials for fleshing stuff out. Let's say that's the center. Obviously, this can be moved. Oh, I might be able to make this adjustable. I think I can actually make this so that it's adjustable. I'll experiment with it right now, but I might be able to make it super adjustable so that she can get it and it fits her face exactly. That would be really cool. Okay. Okay. Okay, so hey, all right. That I'm really pleased by that. I'm really pleased by that. It's almost like I want it to tip. I want it to tip. So how do I make it tip? Well, I can give it a bias. Like I can put a second barrier here and put a pin between them. But really, God, that's really kind of nailed that right off the bat. Okay, so what if, right. So it doesn't mind being there like that, and it doesn't mind being turning, but as soon as it gets close, it turns. Look at that. Okay, I can't quite fix this whole mechanism in place for Simone, but I can send her these parts made well with attachments and multiple mounting points so that she can get these relationships right. But that seems to me like that's working pretty well. Popcorn opens up into the hand turns around and turns and feeds the mouth. That might be some of the fastest prototyping I've ever done. I know it may look to you like that happened fast. It feels to me like it happened fast too. Simone, so here's what I've got. Officially, this is a hand. It's been vacuum formed over a mannequin hand. It is made of white styrene plastic. I'm going to send you several blanks of this so that you can cut them out as you need them. This mechanism is, the hand is mounted on a pivot. That pivot is mounted on a dog-legged arm to your hat, to that space where you're going to mount the servo. So it would sit there underneath your popcorn. The bomb bay doors would open. release the popcorn into the hand, and then the hand would come around, and when it reaches this right orientation where the string is pulled taut, the string moves the hand and allows you to eat the popcorn. Don't get me wrong, I think it's going to be messy, but it's going to be cool. Awesome. All right, Simone, here's what I've got for you. The original design you saw with a dog leg of pencil rod attached to my hand mechanism spinning around and feeding. I have now made, instead of MDF, I have made it in UHMW bearing material with a nice nylock screw there. I've given you 3 holes, 1, 2, 3, so that you can put your dog leg in any one of them for distance and use this thumb screw to tighten down on it. Isn't that nice? Here's the spring mechanism, which actually makes it return, and here is the hole through which you'll attach the high strength cord, and I'm gonna send you a couple dozen feet of this cord so you've got it. So I haven't trimmed this hand. I've left it mostly untrimmed so that you could play with it. You'll see I've attached it here with some 440 screws, and I've also included a couple of other uncut out vacuum formed hands for you to play with in case this one messes up. I'm also sending multiple dog legs of different lengths. The last thing I've done to these is I've actually milled a flat on the top part of the dog legs so that you can use them with your D-rod and you can get a nice set screw on there and it will register. Yeah. Okay, I think that's everything you need. Good luck!
Thanks, Adam. So I have the hands, I have the helmet, and I have these trapdoors that I've started making. And basically, they're gonna have 2 metal plates that we're gonna cut out right now, and they're gonna be attached to the side of the helmet and then open and close, releasing the popcorn. So I have this sheet of metal that we're gonna cut out and put in the bottom of this. Okay, so now we have the 2 trapdoors ready. They're not very precise, but I think it's gonna be good enough as long as the holes in it are smaller than the popcorn. And the next step is gonna be attaching them to the helmet. But the idea is that we're gonna have a motor in between. So we're gonna have a motor that's a servo motor that's facing, it has a D shaft facing downwards, and then we're gonna have the trapdoor outside. So that one's gonna rotate the hand and also open and close the trapdoor. Okay, so now both of the motors and the trapdoors are in place. And I'm thinking the next step is probably attaching the hands and trying to get like the hand moving to work with the trapdoor closing. I haven't really figured out how to do that yet. Makes a pretty nice sound. I haven't really figured out how to do that yet, so I'm a little bit nervous about this step because it might turn out that it doesn't work. But let's try it out. This actually works really well. I'm kind of surprised. This, I would be fed. The only thing is that I'm thinking about is how I make this turn also somehow close the trapdoor. But I'm thinking just attaching a string to, I've drilled holes through, but I'm thinking maybe just attaching strings to these holes that I've drilled and having them like somehow pull them up might work out. Let's try it out. By the way, this is getting pretty heavy. Like, it's a good thing that popcorn is very light in itself, because otherwise I would need to get some neck exercise before I bring this one to the cinema. I just really want to try this out now. And the next step is going to be connecting the microcontroller that is going to control how the motors move. So I made this like little shield to just a regular Arduino Uno, where it's like very basic, but it just lets me connect 2 servo motors to it. I think it's ready to be tried out. I'm just gonna start off with using it on my head without the popcorn. I have no idea how it's actually gonna dispense the popcorn. I mean, they might just all fall out at the same time, or none of them fall out, or I don't know. And my blood sugar is getting pretty low, so I'm excited about eating some. Let's test run this first.
Wow, that's great.
I just love the look of this.
Me too.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Am I ready for this? I'm not sure. I don't even know what to say.
Amazing.
Or yes, I do. Let's put some freaking popcorn.
All right.
Ouch! They're really hot.
It kind of works. It's like it's throwing it at your face.
I don't know what to say. I'm out of words. I'm almost worse.
Oh my gosh, that is so freaking funny. I can think of no better way to inaugurate you into Tested, Simone, than that build. We are clearly going to make many beautiful and pointless machines together. Welcome to Tested.